Excellency, the next speaker to deliver a statement is the President of Nigeria, President Buhari. President, you have the floor.
Your Excellencies, the heads of state and government, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, Secretary General of the United Nations. First, on behalf of Nigeria, I wish to express my deepest sympathies to the government and people of France on the tragic terrorist event that occurred on Friday, 13th of November 2015, resulting in the huge loss of lives and several injuries of innocent lives. I congratulate Your Excellency, President of France, for hosting this historic 21st session of the Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The Conference of Parties on Climate Change is taking place in the context of the political momentum generated by the universal adoption of 2030 Agenda on Sustainable Development at the United Nations General Assembly in New York last September, when we marked the 70th anniversary of the establishment of the United Nations. We must therefore scale up our commitment to ensure a successful outcome here in Paris and contribute to transforming our world through sustainable development. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, Nigeria, like many countries, continues to witness the adverse effect of climate change in all its ramifications. To the north, we have the Sahara Desert. To the south, we have the Atlantic. And we have a large population. A piece of land that used to belong to 10 people 2 generations ago now belongs to 100 people. And there are a series of droughts. We are reeking under challenges of climate change as the frequency and the intensity of extreme events like floods and drought are on the increase. These challenges have resulted in the destruction of many economic and social structures, and more worryingly, threatening our national food production and security. As a subject of regional level, we are settled with the challenges of the Lake Chad. The Lake Chad Basin Commission, comprising the Cameroons, Chad, Niger, and Nigeria, and Benin Republic, have made an attempt to secure the region from terrorists. Otherwise, the number of people from that region that are there in the Sahara Desert and the Mediterranean to come to Europe will increase. But if that region is secured by the program being submitted by Lake Chad Basin Commission to empty one of the rivers from Central African Republic into Chad Basin, at least 5 million people will benefit, and those who live through poverty and oppression of the terrorists will no longer dare to cross the Sahara Desert and the Atlantic, in which most of them lost their lives. It is therefore in the interest of all of us to make sure that this project that was first mentioned in 1925 should be executed, empty one or two of the rivers from Central Africa into Chad Basin. The world is leaving behind millions of people who depend on lake for their survival. The government of Nigeria welcomes the Lake Chad Development and Climate Resilience Plan and the Lake Chad Basin Commission and international partners for designing this climate-based plan. For Paris Agreement to help in the mitigation of climate change, it must reflect ambitious levels of emission reduction in the intended national determined contributions, this INDCs, communicated by parties to the Climate Change Convention. The positive Lima spirit, which has inspired the shared and bold commitment to strengthen international cooperation and partnership towards a sustainable climate change agreement, must permeate our deliberations in Paris. On our part in Nigeria, we undertake an intensive and participatory process of multi-level consultations with a cross-section of stakeholders within the different tiers of government towards determining our national contribution to global mitigation reduction. Based on national consideration, Nigeria intends to attain the mitigation reduction objective of 20% unconditional and 45% conditional below the business as usual level of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. The parties cannot but live up to their expectations in the fulfillment of their obligations under the two existing climate changes treaties. It becomes imperative then that in the run-up to 2020, existing mitigation commitments and pledges must be fulfilled. This calls for early ratification of the Doha Agreement for the second commitment period in the climate change process to be effective. In addition, provision of finance capability building, technology, and other means of implementing climate change activities in the pre-2020 period must be honored by the developed country parties. The developed countries must take the lead and improve their financial obligation to developing countries in their bid to mitigate and adapt to the impacts of climate change. Nigeria is firmly committed to ensuring that we collectively evolve the current areas of contention with respect to the financial mechanism, adaptation framework, and institutional arrangement, as well as technology transfer and capability building for the benefit of all parties. As part of its adaptation and mitigation strategy, Nigeria has embraced the development of renewable energy, the enforcement of energy efficiency, more use of natural gas, and climate-smart agriculture. In fact, developing countries urgently need the financial and technical resources to help us in adequately implementing both mitigation and adaptation activities. In this respect, we call for the establishment of an effective means of monitoring, reviewing, and verification of availability as well as accessibility of funds to the development countries in order to address the challenges of climate change. Finally, my delegation would like to reiterate that the Paris Agreement must be legally binding, all-encompassing, and sustainable for it to be universally applicable, result-oriented in all and effective. The agreement we reach here must also be a fair, multilateral, and rules-based regime guided by science with an overall aim of ensuring the right to equitable access of every country of the world to sustainable development. I thank you very much.